My crew went up without me. I had sinus infection and was in the infirmary and couldn't fly. And the plane crashed. And so all 22, 23 on board perished, and that was it.
I think it was a rocket that hit dead center on that bunker. So I'm within a second earlier, if that rocket would have hit, we'd have been gone. But you know, I just got knocked to the floor, probably unconscious. When I got up and I saw my buddy and I said, "Bob, man, you're hurt." He said, "You don't look so good yourself."
I mean, I don't want to be there. I didn't know these people. They didn't do anything to me. And you know, I was handed an automatic weapon and told to go kill them.
It's been 30 years since the fall of Saigon, but time does not heal all wounds.
I had this closet full of ghosts from the war. And every time I opened it up, I'd kind of look back in there at all those bad memories I'd blocked out. And I'd close the door, and I didn't want to deal with it.
Many Vietnam veterans came back from the war and tried to put their memories of it as far out of their mind as they possibly could. And over the years, some of them started to get the feeling that maybe there was something else that they were supposed to do in Vietnam. And a few of them ventured back, trying to find ways to help the Vietnamese people recover from years of war and chaos. And those who did go came back and started to tell their stories to others. As they did, their numbers began to grow, as did their need to become organized into a single solid force to help the people of Vietnam that needed that help the most.
Bearing each other's burdens is to me more important than sharing each other's joys. You can get anybody sharing joy.
A presentation given to the Rotary Club by a fellow member and Vietnam veteran that made one of those early trips provided a spark.
A lot of Vietnam veterans and Rotarians came and talked to him. All of those people decided that they want to do something for Vietnam. And that's how it started.
Since then, the projects have grown each year. They've built schools, purchased uniforms and computers, built health centers, vaccinated children, anything that was needed. The foundation found a way to provide it.
It's about the children. That's what it's all about.
And it turned out to be maybe the most important thing I've ever done. I mean, it was, what I found out was there were no ghosts in that closet.
The first trip was pretty much a fact-finding. We had 2 or 3 facilities that we had built, and on the second trip it was like coming home.
The D.O.V.E. Fund, as simple as veterans helping themselves by helping others.
I really like bringing Vietnam veterans back to Vietnam. To me, it's like the tape recorder when I was in high school. You know, I could tape, you know, the music that I wanted. But once I was tired of that music, I taped over it and put on new music. The mind's the same way. You know, I taped over 1969 with new music. You know, the kids dancing, the kids there. I mean, that's my music today. So you ask me about Vietnam, I'm thinking about our schools, the kids. I'm not thinking about the war.
We were with a group of people, Rotarians, which a number of us are, and we were at a meeting, must have been 5.5 years ago, and a gentleman by the name of Chuck Oswald, who's synonymous with giving in the Appliance Center and things of this nature, gave a talk about his trip over to Vietnam. And a number of us, including Fred and 2 or 3 other Rotarians, came up to the podium afterwards and said, we want to find out a little more. I think that Chuck was baiting us to get us involved. And at that point in time, we got involved with Chuck. Another group was meeting and talking about forming an organization, which I don't think ultimately was called the D.O.V.E. Fund, but anyways, 2 or 3 months after the fact, the D.O.V.E. Fund was founded. You know, we were trying to raise money to build a $5,000 school, first project. You know, it was a big deal trying to get off the ground. But, you know, we got that done, and then we wanted to build a elementary school, about $26,000 at that time, in Trulong, and we got that done and went over to visit it. And of course, once you go to the country, once you see the kids, the teachers, the smiles on their face, you know, it's unbelievable.
Once we had built the original schools and hospitals, and we were going to go back to dedicate them, I thought it was a great idea for everybody else, but not me, because I swore I'd never go back to that. I made it out of there alive once, and I swore I'd never go back. And my wife actually is the one who stayed after me, and she said, I think this is something you need to do. And I made the mistake of saying, well, I'll go if you'll go. And she goes, sure. So I had kind of committed myself to going. And it turned out to be maybe the most important thing I've ever done.
We have a very dear friend of mine, Bob Mehring, who unfortunately passed away last year, was a member of the D.O.V.E Fund along with Jeff McKisson. We all went to high school together. And 3 years ago on Veterans Day, Bob had asked me to get some information on one of our classmates, Ned D.O.V.E, who was my first love, that was killed in Vietnam, and they were doing a presentation at Ottawa Hills High School. And actually Jeff McKisson and Bob were doing the presentation because they were going to do a fundraiser for the D.O.V.E Fund. After I gave Bob the information, I asked if I could attend. And I sat there and I realized at that moment that that was going to become my passion.
Actually, most of my friends are coming going with me. They have a good heart. That's coming down to. They are loving people. They have a good heart. They care. And that's why when my people see those caring people, caring Americans, they love them. You know, they love and they smile. That's why my friends keep on coming back with me every year.
To see the people in need, to see the people living in the conditions that they were living in, but how important that the family unit was, and how important that the schools and the freshwater wells and medical clinics and things of this nature were to them was unbelievable.
The older we get, we mature, and I think we become a little more giving, because you do realize that it isn't about your homes, your cars. It's about what you can do to help others live a better life.
You can volunteer your time to talk about the D.O.V.E Fund. You can send some money in. It doesn't have to be big. It can be $10, $20, $50. I mean, U.S. dollars go a long way in Vietnam. A salary of a teacher is $30 to $50 per month. The scholarship for a year for the students can be $100 a year, something like that. So a well for a clean water is about $100 for a family. So, money go a long way in Vietnam. So whatever you can do, I mean, it's great for the people in Vietnam.
The Bible says that it's appointed unto man once to die and then the judgment. I don't think this is a big bang life. I think that there is a higher power, and that word says that when that judgment comes, I don't think he's going to care too much about how much money I made, or you obviously can't take it with you, but I do think that it's going to make a difference in what you try to do to help other people, and I think the D.O.V.E Fund will be standing tall and looking good on that day.